In my third essay, I argue that American exceptionalism exposes American culture and politics as narcissistic. For those of us who have studied the psychological effects of abuse in families, what is currently taking place in Washington makes perfect sense according to the fundamentals of a family system defined by narcissistic abuse. It is not an oversimplification to suggest that in America's political family right now, the Republican Party is the angry daddy who yells whenever he wants and might even backhand his wife from time to time just to remind her who's in charge.
Dad comes home. Yeah, that's right. Dad comes home. And he's pissed. Dad is pissed.
The Democratic Party is the abused mommy who keeps making excuse for daddy's yelling and hitting, while we, the citizens, are the kids, of whom about a third or more worship daddy because they think bullies like him are winners. Another third are neoliberals who feel sorry for mommy but are in denial about the family needing a divorce, so they don't say anything. The final third are progressives.
If you allow your hormone-addled 15-year-old daughter to slam the door of her bedroom and give you the finger, you're going to get more of it. And those kids are going to wind up in rehab. It's not good for you, and it's not good for them. No.
That speak up only to be told to shut up by the rest of the family, including mommy. Truth tellers often become the scapegoats of narcissistic families because they're the only ones speaking truth to parental power, while everyone else is either too scared or too deep in denial about what the real problem is. Dad's anger and dad's position as head of the family. When the scapegoated kids call out the angry dad, you'd think others might rally around him or her. Help beat back the bully, right? Not in these kinds of families. In these kinds of families, everyone is expected to accommodate the parental power structure, no matter how hypocritically angry and childish the parents act themselves. So the blame that should fall on dad for being an abusive jerk ends up falling on the kids who spoke up, effectively making those kids the scapegoats of the family from then on.
And when dad gets home, you know what he says? You've been a bad girl. You've been a bad little girl, and you're getting a vigorous spanking right now. And no, it's not going to hurt me more than it hurts you. No, it's not. I'm not going to lie. This is going to hurt you a lot more than it hurts me. And you earned this. You're getting a vigorous spanking because you've been a bad girl. And it has to be this way.
The Monday morning quarterbacking of the 2024 election loss by Kamala is only the latest example of the establishment left running a horrible campaign, losing, and then blaming the loss on the progressive left. MAGA daddy slapped the hell out of neoliberal mommy, but somehow it's the progressive kids' fault because they're always running their mouth about policy. Who really deserved the blame for Kamala's loss? Kamala and her team of DNC establishment consultants for running a god-awful campaign that resulted in low voter turnout. Who has received the most blame for Kamala's loss? The radical left that wants to give you health care, take debt off your back, and bring back FDR's Democratic Party. Progressives are the scapegoats of American politics because they are the truth tellers of American politics. we have been shouting at the rest of the country about the evil of the Republican Party and the fecklessness of neoliberal Democrats for generations. Most fervently, however, since Bernie's presidential run made it clear many Americans are rightfully pissed off about baby boomer politicians prioritizing their own generation's greed at the expense of younger generations' basic needs. Today, establishment Democrats programmed by the political traditions of baby boomer neoliberals are in denial about being in a relationship with MAGA Republicans defined by narcissistic abuse, mainly because both parents in this family are narcissists. We'll cover the Democratic Party's narcissism in a future episode.
Because it is the party of weak men and unhappy women. One of which leads to the other, by the way. Where you find weak men, you will inevitably find unhappy women. Sorry. And they make them on purpose. They weaken the men to drive the women insane, to have the most consistent voting bloc ever in the history of politics. Unhappy women made unhappy by weak men.
The progressive left, the scapegoated kids of this family, have to unite and in one voice stage an intervention with neoliberal mommy to convince her to divorce conservative daddy so that mom and the kids can lead a new life free of dad's narcissistic abuse. The success of that intervention depends on progressives' ability to convince moderates and centrists that America is indeed in a state of late-stage capitalism, that bipartisanship is dead, and that the politics of revolution are required. Once conservative daddy is out of the picture, the progressive left's scapegoats turned heroes must convince neoliberal mommy to start talking to a therapist so she can reflect on the decisions she's made since 1992 and hopefully discover that her progressive kids know how to manage things better than she does. Current polls suggest that 2026 and 2028 will constitute historic opportunities for the progressive left to acquire power within the Democratic Party. As of March 2025, most Americans that vote Democrat are sick of the DNC party establishment, with approval ratings for the DNC hitting a record low. Anti-MAGA Americans are begging for Democrats to fight back against the forces of evil currently in power. But Democrats won't fight back, both because they don't know how and because they're too old, too tired, and too weak. The abused wife can't fight the abusive husband, but she can listen to her smarter and stronger kids when they tell her to get a divorce. How does this political divorce manifest in Trump-era American politics? Generational change within Democratic Party leadership along ideological lines. No more neoliberal baby boomers running for office as Democrats. If you're an establishment baby boomer Democrat, either resign or don't run for re-election, preferably the former. You had your time, and you failed. No more neoliberal baby boomers from either the Clinton, Obama, or Biden administrations serving as party elders. No more. Give America a fresh start by giving us younger, angrier and more progressive candidates running for Democratic Party primaries in all levels of government.